These are my people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking, wait, why are they're all fruity.
They're all...
Why are we all fruity? And then I saw...
Why?
Why
though?
Why is everybody fruity? And then I saw Incredibles 2, and then I went, well, before then...
The glasses are off.
What's poppin'? My name's Shy Friend.
My name is Rowan.
Hi, I'm Ian from Apollo Western Cup.
My name is Dana Demento.
My name is Katie.
We are from the House of Ebony, and you're watching
Queer in Alberta.
Welcome back to Queer in Alberta, the podcast where I chat with 2S LGBTQIA+ Albertans from all across the province to share their stories. If you are new here, welcome to Season 4. My name is Kels Valenzuela Delamarter. I'm your host. I use she, her pronouns, and this podcast is filmed and recorded right here on Treaty 7 territory, home of the Blackfoot Confederacy and the Otipemisiwak Métis government in the Alberta District Number 1. This episode, we are asking, what even is queer scum pop? Apparently a really easy reference point for queer scum pop right now as a musical genre is, you guessed it, Chapel Roan. I am not interviewing Chapel Roan on today's episode. I've got somebody even better. If you are in the Calgary music scene, you have already seen this group and individual lighting up the stages across the city. We are talking about the one, the only Shy Friend. Chapel Roan, Shy Friend. I think I see the pieces. So what is Shy Friend? Shy Friend is a multi-instrumental group, rock, punk, pop, scum pop band, the list goes on, fronted by my friend Jubs, who started Shy Friend originally as a solo project, but has since seen it grow into this really fun, raucous group in Calgary. Jubs applied to come onto the show through that Queer in Alberta audience guest form, and when I saw their application and read again, Queer Scum Pop, I had to know more. Not only did the whole musical aspect really catch my attention and interest, but Jubs shared in their application that they had grown up in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, which for those of you that don't know Sylvan Lake, think about like a small town. Let's even Google it right now. Sylvan Lake, Alberta. For reference, I grew up in Bonnyville. That was a 5,000 population town, and she felt like it a lot of the time. Sylvan Lake is a little bit bigger. It says here that according to the 2024 census, they have almost 18,000 people, so basically a city. But all teasing aside, I was really excited to hear about this artist from small Sylvan Lake and to hear a bit about how their artistry and queer identity was shaped by these two very different places. But yeah, I'm just so curious. What happens if I Google queer scum pop? Like, what comes up? Ignore the AI overview, scroll down. I think we need to be more specific. What is queer scum pop? You know, this should be very telling. Not a lot is coming up. So if you want to know what queer scum pop is, you're going to have to listen to this episode to find out. In the episode, we talk about, of course, Shy Friend as the musical project, as my friend, the artist, but we also talk about what it was like for Jubs, again, growing up in Sylvan Lake, Alberta. As someone that also came from a small town, I always have a soft spot for folks that have the similar origin story, and there's definitely a lot of those touch and goes and comparisons in this conversation. So I guess we could say that this episode is for all of the kids growing up in small towns, the queerdos and the weirdos, who maybe want to make some scum pop, who want to make some art and music, or whatever it is that catches your interest. PSA, I think, and I say this as an achievement, Jubs's Q&A, audience Q&A at the very end, is by far the most feral, wacky, and a little bit bizarre out of all of the ones that we had this season. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you stick around for that. This is Shy Friend talking about what is queer scum pop and what is it like making it in Calgary, Alberta. I feel like so many people are afraid to put themselves out there, to be cringe even as we say. So yeah, I love everything that Shy Friend stands for, and I'm so happy that you're here in Lethbridge with me.
I'm so happy to be here. It's so pretty here.
Yeah, what is your snapshot, first impression, destination Lethbridge?
Okay, so why isn't the bridge on the left?
Wait, why is it not?
Yeah, I drove in and it was on the right, and I was like, okay, so maybe I drove in from the wrong way. Then I get to my hotel, I look out the window.
Yeah.
it's still on the right. There's no way to have the bridge on there's no left bridge.
I see. So you heard left and you went, geography, it must be on the left.
I thought, maybe I'm not going to make fun of how someone says it, but like, it makes sense.
Oh my goodness. I love this. Most people are like, she's stunning. The coolies, the bridge is stunning, but you were like, the bridge is in the wrong place.
Why'd they put it there?
Yeah.
And also I want to climb it. And
you
apparently
got beef. You got beef with people in
with the bridge.
whatever century that thing was put there.
I mean, it's also like really pretty here.
True.
Like really pretty. Like I haven't don't get me wrong, Drumheller's kind of nice, but there's a lot of there's a lot of paper mache there.
I love the gloves are coming off in the first 5 minutes.
I'm not here to make,
Drumheller.
Drumheller's gorgeous, and I love that they don't hate queer people there. It's actually quite delightful there. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
But I mean, here is like pretty and
gay.
It's also very gay, as I found out very recently.
Epicenter of queer in Alberta. Nobody ever expects it, but Lethbridge, as we said, she's gayer than you think.
I've been here for like 24 hours and I've just been loving it. The graffiti in the bathroom stalls has been so gay.
It's a nice place and we're so happy to have you. But you might be familiar, we open off the show with a fun little segment called Quickfire Queer. And what it is it's a lightning round of 5 fun, fruity questions that you get 5 seconds to answer. Do you think you can do it?
Just whatever comes to mind. It might raise some more questions, but I think I can do it.
That's perfect. It's off the cuff. It's fun. And are you ready?
Yes.
Who is the patron saint of Scum Pop? 5.
It's got to be like Chapel, right?
Chapel?
Roan?
I think you're the authority, so we're going to go with Chapel.
I mean, she's what dragged me down this road.
Question 2. What's a trope or stereotype about queer musicians that's actually true?
We're loud.
You're loud?
We're really loud people. Like visually,
excitable.
Yeah, visually, emotionally, like everything. It's like we're loud.
We're loud. Okay. I can rock with that one. That one makes sense. Your third question is, what is your favorite post-show ritual?
Milkshake.
Milkshake? Where?
Anywhere. There's never anywhere open.
In Calgary? Come on.
Everything closes at midnight. I'm usually out of a place by 1. So, my usually doesn't even get one, but when
Tragedy.
I can, anywhere that's open. Peter's, I do mess up with Peter's.
But your second last question is, if you had to come up with a queer slogan for Calgary, what would it be?
Get loud, get messy, bring an emergency contact.
And grab a milkshake.
Yeah, grab one after.
Perp.
Yeah.
That was easy. I expected maybe a little more stumbling with that one, but you aced it.
I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
hitting my stride now.
You got it. And so for your stride, this is your last question. You ready?
Okay.
Who's the bigger diva? Your current home base of Calgary, Alberta, or your hometown of Sylvan Lake?
Who's the bigger diva?
Bigger
What do you
diva.
mean by diva?
Bigger icon, bigger moment.
I gotta say Calgary's pumping. I gotta say Calgary's pumping. I got no shade for Sylvan. I think Sylvan's great. But if you're looking for exciting pop, exciting music, I really like what Calgary's getting done. I feel very lucky to be a part of it. It's very exciting.
Beautiful answer. Sincere answer. For me, when I think about it, Bonnyville versus Lethbridge, I'm like, Bonnyville is the bigger diva for everything she put me through. So
that's real fair, but
Yeah.
Sylvan's so mild with it. It's very polite and it's comfy. I will not complain about how comfy it is. And the music people there are great too, but diva wise, Calgary packs a wallop.
Calgary packs a punch.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Well, that was your quickfire queer. You survived it.
I lived.
How do we feel? Warm up complete, ready to go.
More alive than ever.
More alive than ever. You aced it. I do want to say, for those that are not watching the podcast, you really should, because Shy Friend's outfit is fantastic. You want me to take a moment to describe what we're wearing today?
Yeah. So for all of our shows, we have a different theme that we do. And so I'm playing a show tonight in Lethbridge, which is very exciting. First time.
So fun.
And the theme is office punk. So I thrifted a chartreuse, what is this? A blazer? Oversized blazer. And I have stuck so many safety pins to it and a little pin that my sibling made of my little Shy Friend logo. I'm wearing a big old plaid shirt thrifted once again, of course. Like everything I'm wearing is thrifted.
I feel like it is gay culture just to thrift everything and find the most fabulous things that no one has seen since 1989.
Yeah, no, that's you got to dig them back up because they don't break as easy.
Mm-hmm.
I got like the fishnets and all that kind of stuff. They're all ripped to death, and big old boots,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got these earrings that I really like. That one is a what is this thing? A guillotine?
Like a guillotine?
Is that what you
say?
Mm-hmm. And one's just a hand in case I got caught in the guillotine.
See, this is good for me because I didn't even notice those details yet because there's so much going on.
I know. I over
Yeah.
accessorize. I'm also wearing a lot of pearls. If you hear any like clacking, I'm sorry. That's just how I'm dressed.
It's just the moment.
Yeah.
And then you also you mentioned your Shy Friend logo that's visible on your blazer, but
Yeah.
you have a ginormous Shy Friend crochet
I have my
bestie.
my emotional support Shy Friend. We call them cuddle buddies when they're this big because
Oh,
we have
no
a couple of them
way.
that are around this size,
Mhm.
and they're hand crocheted by a friend of the band. Shout out to Zoe. You're a real G for making these.
So cool.
They're so cute.
I'm
And
actually quite jealous. I feel like I'm gonna have to order one, and I wish I had one with me so we could match.
we
for
could
the
match
show.
and we could both have one. They're
We
just
could
you know,
match.
they're good to have around. They're nice and squishy.
Yeah.
Comforting. Yeah.
And huge for comfort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's maybe let's pause first and introduce Shy Friend first because we keep saying Shy Friend, but maybe folks haven't met you before. Maybe
Fair.
they don't know who you are.
You want me to say what I am?
Maybe. Would you mind doing a quick little intro?
Yeah, sure. So my
That's
name's
so funny. We want to say what I am.
You want me to say what I am? You want me to do the whole so my name's Julie or Jubs, and I created this project called Shy Friend. It's sort of the music project that I currently work on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cast of fruity and fruity adjacent folks who come on stage with me, and we make like punky, alt pop, girly.
So cool.
We call it like scum pop, alt rock, like somewhere in there. It started out as like a really chill, sad girl indie project, and since I've gotten to work with a band and started to really develop like the community that I've found in Calgary, it's really bloomed into this really kind of DIY messy rock adjacent thing. But I'm still very femme, and being femme and in rock is very difficult. So we're still pop because that's just sort of how things are.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, but I also love pop. You know, I've learned to love pop, so
I've learned to love it.
I
Yeah.
didn't grow up on pop, but I like it now. I missed out on a lot. And yeah, Shy Friend is just that. It's the name was because I don't like being perceived often.
Which is, I wouldn't expect that.
You
Do you know
know?
what I mean? As
Right?
we're describing the chartreuse. As we're like,
Chartreuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, in like daily life I love to be an NPC. I really
An
enjoy it.
NPC.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure of mine. But I realized that doing what I do and making what I make, it's not really a smart choice to you know, I feel happy to be perceived when I'm asking to.
Yeah.
So the name is kind of like ironic. It's like I am very shy outside of this.
Yeah.
While I'm here, I'm definitely not. But the second I'm off stage, it's like, come say hi to me because I don't know how.
Right.
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question? Right now, like I'm getting a bit off topic now, but I find that so interesting. You're in this really amazing outfit. Like, again, you would assume maybe a bit extroverted. You're about to go and do this show, like all these sorts of things. For me, it almost sounds like Shy Friend is like a drag character in some ways, like this extreme version of you. Does that feel right?
Yeah, like wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Like when I first started performing and trying to do this whole thing, I was also, my sibling had started doing drag a lot. And so I was going out to a lot of drag shows. And so it's just been sort of a thing where they've sort of come hand in hand. Yeah, it's very much. I put on the whole outfit. I do the whole thing so that I feel comfortable and in control of how I'm being perceived when I want to be, you
That's
know?
cool.
And yes, it is very extreme and obscene and wacky.
Yeah. And like it also, for me, like I've started getting into drag a little bit, as you know, and you came and saw me in Calgary, which was so much fun.
Yes, you've been killing it.
I think I'm blushing. I'm blushing over here. But what I was going to say is like my drag persona, Topsy Log, like I really relate to that aspect you're speaking about with Shy Friend, where it's like, these are the aspects of my personality that maybe don't get to be seen in the day-to-day, but I can really channel through this character and in these moments. So it's liberating in that way.
So is. It's so nice to have that.
No, for
It's
sure.
so nice to just be have control over that and be able to make it as extreme as you want to. So nice.
And life's too short. Have some fun. Get your
I know.
chartreuse, get your thick boots, like show up at the Value Village, mama. For folks that are listening and getting all excited about Shy Friend, do you maybe have any songs that they should go and queue up right now to listen after they're done this episode?
Well, by the time this is out, I'm assuming that our upcoming EP would have just dropped.
Yes.
At the time of recording, we're a week away from it coming out.
Yep.
And it's messy, it's silly, and the first song off of it is called "Never Been a Sinner."
You're looking at me like all demure, and I'm like, okay.
It's you know, I grew up in small town in a lot of
Cheers to that.
yeah, a lot of Christianity and a lot of things that I felt like I had to feel shame for. And
they're grabbing their tea, just like
I'm like, yeah, let me spill just a wee bit for you.
a tiny morsel.
But you know, the "Never Been a Sinner" is such a fun expression of that, and the music I've done in the past I still love, but it's very sad and you know, personal.
Yeah.
And this new stuff is like it's full of rage, it's absurd, it's silly, it's just doing whatever the heck I feel like it. And I think that song, when it comes out, is gonna be sort of the best encapsulation of that, you know?
I'm obsessed. Can I get a sneak peek of it later? Like, Never Been
yeah.
a Sinner? Come on.
Dude.
My religious trauma from circa 2000, it's living as soon as you said that.
You're gonna gag over the music video.
Been here and I come out fine, but damn, already you crossed the line. I think I'll make a mental list, trying to guess my numbers prime. It's time you leave me. Burying the hatchet in the skull, you can't carry me. Please, scrape against the matches, feel the burning start at my knees.
That was Never Been a Sinner.
Yeah.
Go cue it and listen to it and let everybody know what you think about it. Maybe let's start with Sylvan Lake. So when I was thinking about this episode, I actually reflected and I was like, I don't know if I've been to Sylvan Lake as an adult. I think there's a picture of me like swimming in the lake as a baby and that's it. But I did a quick Google and I really admired how Sylvan Lake is very self-aware. And what I mean by that is like every restaurant that came out was like son of a beach by the bay, like all of this kind of stuff. They know their brand and they're here for it.
It's all about that lake, man. It's
It
all
is
about it.
all about that lake. And I was like, it gave me like almost like a Gilmore Girls vibe a little bit, you know, like this character around the lake and etc. So what was it like growing up in this place?
I mean, for the most part, it's a vacation town.
Yeah.
There is a huge, you know, influx of people who come in the summer, and then in the winter, fall, there's like nobody. I grew up on like a little acreage type thing outside of town.
It's like looking in a mirror, honestly. The
Yeah.
same experience.
So I spent time tending to my neighbor's chickens, and we had like an old schoolhouse from the like 1930s that was a community hall that everybody would hang out at.
City people don't know about the halls.
They don't know
Do you
about the
realize
schoolhouse.
it? They
Do
don't
they know it?
understand that like you go to a hall that's like in the middle of nowhere and it's a community hub for events after church, etc., etc.
Yeah,
People in
and
the cities don't know.
it's great. You hang out on the oil tankers. We would used to like
Yeah.
ride them like horses.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but you know.
I didn't do that, but I love that you did.
Me neither.
I love that
This
one
is
of us got to
technical.
experience this.
It was fun if you got up there. If you couldn't get up there, it was frustrating. But
true.
yeah, I grew up out there up until I was about, I think, 8, and then we moved into town.
Mm-hmm.
Into town, yeah. Hit the big city of Sylvan Lake.
Civilization.
I mean, we weren't too far out of town beforehand, so it was
Yeah.
just like getting used to it. And then I got to walk to school and all that kind of jazz, which was nice. It was
Main
quiet.
character for sure.
Yeah, sure. Like main character was definitely not the vibe. Actually, I was very much one of the weird kids. I don't know if that's
I fear
obvious.
many of us queer kids were when we were little.
Yeah. It
Not
was
to stereotype, but
I mean, it was a thing, and my parents were thankfully very, you know, open to letting me express myself however I wanted
That's
to.
awesome.
So when I wanted to get like a really cruddy mullet when I was, you know, in grade, 5, they let me. They told me I'd get bullied, and I did. But I got like, I had the mullet. I would only wear boys' clothes. I was one of, when people say tomboy, but you really are like, oh, the he, him feels so good though.
it feels so good.
Oh.
What is this, Euphoria?
Yeah, that was me for years and
Yeah.
years. And then, it got bullied out of me at the same time as I realized that being feminine and being a girl doesn't have to be what I thought it was, you know?
Yeah.
Internet helped a lot with that. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot with that.
Dude, I really resonate with you on that. Like, I've talked about this on the podcast before, but as a kid, I don't know if it was just how hyper, like, rigid gender categories were when we were young. Like, think even in the simplest terms, blue for boys, pink for girls. I took it to the extreme of like, I don't want to wear anything pink as a girl because pink is weak and being a girl is weak. And like, I was confused because I was like, I'm a girl and I don't feel weak. So I don't want to feed into those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was what it felt like.
That was it. And
Yeah.
my sibling when I was younger was like girly girl, like pink everything. Wanted to be a fashion designer, was like full into the femme fantasy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't want to be that.
Other way.
We like hated each other and we did not want to. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But like we did not want to be like each other whatsoever. So I was like, let me do the opposite.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank goodness I found YouTube and figured out that like, you know, it's not everything, you know? And yeah, then did all the schooling there, did high school, all of that jazz. After high school, I worked there for 1 extra year. I was a music teacher. And then I...
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I taught classical violin.
There are so many layers to
I
your
know.
life. I love lore. Get into it. Like,
Things have changed a lot. And
Yeah.
then I saved up enough money to go to college. And then I moved to Calgary and I've been there since.
I thought some of these anecdotes from you were really funny. You told me that the welcome sign is after the welcome to the Church of Sylvan Lake sign.
Yeah. And there's like 20 churches on that sign. Yeah.
That is so funny to me
Is that
because
nuts?
it's nuts. And then like in Bonnieville, same thing. There were so many churches and it's like a 5,000 population town, but you have one for every denomination, it felt like. And you grew up Christian, like you said, and you were talking too about like growing up and being different in a small town environment, how that stifled your artistry a little bit. Do you want to expand on that?
it was a lot of being different wasn't cool unless everybody was cool with it, you know?
Huge. Yeah.
And I
do.
was like really weird, you know? And I wasn't afraid to be weird, but I was afraid enough of the repercussions.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I felt like I was put in this box of, okay, if I'm going to do music, I got to do something that I can be taken seriously doing, which is classical music is very serious.
I was going to say, you picked the most serious one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and it was sort of one of the first things that I also really was good at that I didn't hate. So I really clung to that. I was like, if that's what I can do, if I can play violin and that's my thing, even if it's not necessarily my, you know, favorite thing to listen to or participate in or anything, just being good at something was something that I just was like, at least this nobody can make fun of me for, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then as I got older, I realized that that's not really where my passion lied. I didn't really care about being the best, but it's hard when that's the focus, you know. It's like that's the one thing that nobody can mess with me about my fiddle skills. Nobody can clock me for that, you know.
No one can clock me for my fiddle.
Nobody can clock me for my fiddle skills, and
that
that was so important to just preserving any amount of dignity for myself, it felt like. But
having a skill, like having something to kind of shield you, you know?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, you can make fun of me for how I look, how I act, whatever, but you can't clock me for that. And because of that, I'm going to hold on to that and preserve that. And I did up until I moved to Calgary, and I got, you know, I was going to physio for a long time for my hands because they were kind of messed up.
Yeah.
And then I got in a car accident and they were like, okay, stop. Okay,
no
tap.
more fiddle.
Okay, tap. Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I got to find something else I can be good at like that, which was very scary, you know? But that's when I realized that, oh, snap. Yeah, I've definitely been holding myself back, just clinging to the one thing that nobody can get mad at me for, you know?
And I feel like, I don't know, it's so interesting to me to hear that, because it almost sounds like how some people have shared their stories with me in response to when they finally decided to maybe like be open with their queerness. Like there's a really similar experience there where it's like something happens and you're like, okay, I guess I have a choice to make of like, am I going to continue to, for you, like continue with classical violin or this path that I truly don't want to do? Or am I going to try something new and scary that maybe feels more authentic to me?
Yeah. And that's, I mean, for me, it took, I left the town before that actually hit for me. So, But yeah, it was kind of like a combination of going into school I went for classical voice because that was the closest thing that I could do without my hands. And I was really, really bad at it. So like every week we would do performances for peers and I'd just embarrass myself every single time. So it was just breaking down that, okay, I can suck and nobody cares.
Huge.
And then the pandemic hit and then I could go home and cook. So I shamed myself into oblivion.
Yeah.
And then I went home and realized that,
see ya, I'm done.
it was like, well, if I already suck, then it can't get worse, you know?
This is like actually one of the best lessons you can have, you know, like when you hit that point of whether it's cringe, like we've been saying, or just realizing that no one gives a or no one cares as much as you do, like, and letting it go.
It's so important. And that's why I use that mantra to be cringe is to be free.
That's my favorite. Like I'm obsessed with it.
Every time, like it's so freeing to just be okay with not being the best or not always putting out the, you know, with being okay with being a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
Being a bit silly. And if you do it with conviction, it's so cool.
That's absolutely it. And I even feel it like for me, like taking a super self-imposed critical lens and looking at queer in Alberta from the beginning. Of course, I look back at some of those earlier episodes and I was like, I didn't know I was making a podcast. I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm like, I always tell people, maybe start with season 3, you know, and work your way back. But at the same time, if I didn't start there and just be cringe, put it out there, be vulnerable, I never would have learned everything that I have now. And I wouldn't get to sit next to you and have a really fun, cool conversation.
And it's so important for people to see other people do that process.
To fail, to fumble. You said that Calgary is scum pop in many ways. It's punk, it's DIY, it's fringe and gritty. Sounds like the perfect place for you and your band to be making the music that you're doing.
I mean, we didn't start out making that. Like,
true.
When I first put out a record, I had never really done a show out, you know, it was just from the online stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I put out the record and then I had to do one album release show. And I invited a bunch of friends I found in college to play my like indie pop, bedroom pop stuff.
Yeah.
And like 5 people showed up. It was like the emptiest show.
Let's say it like that. It was intimate. It was special.
No, because it was this big boomy room. It was like this
once
giant...
in a lifetime.
I love that you think that, but like, I think
I'm really fighting for you over here.
I love it. 4 of those people came for the opener, who was Fish in a Birdcage, who's fire.
Cool.
And then 1 or 2 came for me, but they all kind of left. And then during like the songs where I was like really emotional, there was people having conversations loudly at the front of the stage and everything. It was probably, and you know what?
Talk
I put on
about
a
cardinal
face.
sin. Like
I put on a face. I said thank you. You know, I made sure everybody felt very welcome who did show up.
Yeah.
But it was very humbling in the way that I was like, oh, this can be whatever it is online, but in person,
to translate it,
I need to water this flower. I need to figure out what the heck people actually do go out to see. So I started going out to shows and everything, and I found this thing called Rockin' for Dollars, which is like every Thursday they let any band who applies to play 15 minutes, whatever you want.
Just to get the experience. Like that's huge for anyone starting out.
Sometimes they have like theme nights, but for the most part it's like show up, play 15 minutes, and at the end of the night everybody spins a comically large wheel and you could win money. Or you could win eating hot sauce or a group hug, or everybody in the audience has to give you their guitar picks. Or
everyone's a winner, baby.
Yeah,
like,
one
this
time,
is Oprah, something under the seat for everybody.
Yeah. Like one time I got a trophy where it was like obviously a kid's karate trophy, but they put a world's best band tape over it.
And it meant everything to you.
And it was,
And it meant everything to you.
And it's so silly and so fun. And I was like, man, I really like this. Who are these people? And I started getting to know the people there. And it's very punk. It's very messy. It's DIY. And I don't get to see a lot of pop musicians in Calgary, but you know, I like making pop music. So I thought, why not stick them together?
Stick them together and they're Shy Friend.
And since I found a band too, it's like, well, I might as well be making music that's appropriate for a whole band to play. And most of them are very, you know, into punk and into rock music and stuff like that. So I was like, let's make something that everybody likes to play instead of just making whatever I feel like, you know?
That's cool though, because you're touching on the aspect that maybe we haven't spoken to as much directly ourselves of like Shy Friend before being more of like a solo project, as I understand it. And now it's like really coming together with your band to like make it what it is today.
Yeah. My band has been so influential in everything. We play everything ourselves. We meet weekly at the very least, and it's so important. We haven't gotten to collaborate as much as I'd hope, just because things have been moving. Yet, dude, we have so many plans we are so lucky to have so many opportunities to actually connect a lot more.
Love that.
Coming up soon, but you know, since starting this, it's been a lot of, okay, we got into this thing, oh, we got to prepare, oh, we got into this thing, we got to prepare, and it's just been a lot of like, we don't really have time to cook, we just have to
gotta
serve.
go.
We just have to serve.
Just gotta serve hot and ready.
Yeah.
How has it been being specifically not just a scum pop space for like emo and rock, but also so forwardly queer in Alberta?
There is so many people who want it to be a thing here. It is such
like more queer music,
more queer everything. I mean,
preach.
Like when I first moved to Calgary was the first time I really got to see queer expression at all, you know?
Whoa.
Like at all. Like we had a GSA technically at my high school, but it was like it was the Super Smash Brothers club that was fronting as the GSA basically.
Which, are we surprised?
No.
Like if we really think about it. I'm not going to call anybody out here, but I'm not surprised.
We know the gamers.
Yeah.
We gamers. So yeah, moving here, and especially my sibling had moved up to Calgary like a couple years earlier, and so they really started digging their heels into queer expression there. And so they just took me out to every drag show in town, and I got to really, you know, my first experience in Calgary was going to Pride.
And that's ally. Like as an ally,
and my I got the funniest. My sibling was walking in the parade, and they brought me along to walk in the parade, and
as
I was
an
like,
ally.
Fun. And everybody kept asking them if I was their partner, and my sibling would be like, yep. And then I know, and so we'd be walking, and I'm like,
your sibling is roasting you right now. I will have you know. Like if you're listening.
And then, you know, I'd be walking along like maybe that's the only way I could get into the parade or something. I don't know.
Adjacently, yeah.
Yeah, it's just by being. And then afterwards, I was like, so we were sitting and watching Rocky Horror, and I was like, bro, do you know that everybody thinks that we're like. That we're a couple, and they were like, what do you mean? And
why would they?
They thought they meant parade partner.
You know, we should not shame the innocent.
No shame. It was just really funny, and that was my first experience with like the queer community.
That is so funny.
As a whole, and it was so welcoming.
Yeah.
I came into it being an ally. I was like, I'm just here to support, and I was welcomed so openly, especially at the like Rocky Horror Picture Show changed everything for me. Seeing it live and seeing the community around it, I was like, this is fun. This is cringe.
And when you
is
say
silly.
this is live, like I'm assuming full on Rocky Horror, right? We're throwing everything.
Yes, it was a screening with all the throwing. They had drag performers like doing the shadow cast and everything, and they had anybody who came in who it was their first time. They put lipstick on their forehead and stuff like that. It was titular Rocky Horror Picture Show experience. First time seeing it, and I was like, these are my people. And then I started thinking, wait, why are they're all fruity. They're all why are we all fruity? And then I saw
why?
Though? Why is everybody fruity? And then I saw Incredibles 2, and then I went, well, before then
the glasses are off. Hey, public service announcement for Elastigirl. They did not have to let her cook like that. And yet,
in Incredibles 2, I was like, I was in the theater and I was going,
is it just hot in here, or is it?
Before that, I was like, girls are cute, but I'm scared of them. And then I saw her and I was like,
I'm not scared anymore.
I don't care anything.
Backward, forward, upside down.
I would do anything for her. So, and then I started thinking,
are you single?
No.
Oh, well, I was going to say, if there was an Elastigirl dupe out there, we know what you're looking for, so.
That's true. Yeah. I don't think I'd be able to speak. I'm still scared. I'm still scared of ladies, I'm going to be honest. But, you know, I'm
shy friend.
You know, I am so very much. At shows it's easier, you know. But it's been a slow process of like, you know, coming out and being okay with expressing that, not just as an identity, but as like a behavior.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of a different thing for me, but
And, you know, we're talking about this particular experience at Rocky Horror. And, like, also apologies not to be like, are you single? Point blank. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on.
please,
Time
please,
and place.
please.
This is the interview hot seat. But no, what I was going to say is, like, we're reflecting on this being this, like, really beautiful experience. But I also am curious, was it maybe overwhelming too in the moment? Because it sounds like you and I came from really small places and maybe conservative places. So for me, even when I began to seek out queer in Lethbridge, it was exciting, but also scary because I just wasn't prepared for it.
I mean, I was so lucky to have such a community that my sibling introduced me to that was so open and accepting. However, I moved up to Calgary with my partner at the time, who was a cis man. And when I started expressing the feeling of, hey, I don't think I'm just straight anymore to him, he was
Like,
not happy. He was like, that's not, like, you, I was like, I think I'm bi, and it wasn't okay to be that. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm not, but I don't know. And I kept going to shows, I kept supporting the community, and online everybody was chill with it. And so eventually I just was like, screw it, I'm just going to be that, and I'm just going to feel that, and I'm going to be open about it so that other people don't feel scared. Just really that's why I came out, is because I was like, bro, if anybody else feels the way I do not want them to feel like they have to hold back.
I love that. And it's really brave, and like, it sounds like, I don't know, like fluffy words to say that, but it's true. Like, especially when, like, I just have a lot of empathy for it when people come from rural or small environments. I do think it is like an additional challenge because we don't see things in the same way that you do in Calgary and Edmonton and the big cities. It's so much of a introduction to yourself, even, of what queer is, before you begin introducing queer and how you understand it to the people you love.
Yeah, it was tough, especially because everybody from my hometown was not, into that. Thankfully, my parents are so chill, and because my sibling is queer and non-binary.
Shout out to your
now,
sibling, by the way.
I love Ida.
We were roasting you earlier, but you sound like a real icon.
You deserve it all, the good and the bad. Their name's Juniper, and they're so lovely. And they came out before me, so I got to.
Are they younger? Sorry.
No, they're older.
Okay, yeah.
But they like came out to my parents, so I got to see how they reacted, and they first started messing with gender before me, so I got to see how that worked. So I got a little test run with them of like, shout out to them for being brave enough to do it first, so that I could be like, I know it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's been nice to just have somebody that like, and they got a buzz cut, and I got to see, because I really wanted one, and then they just, without telling me, got one, and I was like, I get to see it. I get to see what it's like. Get to see what it's like. It was good.
And did you get the buzz cut?
No, because you know what? The buzz cut looks so good. The grow out is so annoying. I either want long hair or I want no hair, and I cannot afford a good wig. So I gotta have long hair for now.
No, the hair talk is real. Even for me, when I think about if I'm gonna be growing this out at some point, I'm like, everybody pray for me. Just send me a little extra love throughout that 6-month process.
It's so stressful. Like, what do you do with it at that point? It's like, I don't know.
Cry. Hope my wife still loves me. Like,
perm?
Sickness and health, right? Just perm. Just big afro. Go.
Go for it.
Yeah. Well, I just think that relationship between you and your sibling is really, really sweet and special. And again, it reminds me of mine because it's nice when, even though my sibling is straight, like, he's been such a support with my family. And I think my relationship with my family is a little different. It sounds like yours have been very supportive for a long time, but it's nice when you have someone like a sibling who grew up in the same place, now going on these adventures with you. It's a really special journey.
And we hated each other growing up.
That is so wild.
We wanted to kill each other on the daily. And then, you know what it was? It was sharing a bathroom.
Actually, I redact every statement. I fully understand. I was so on the rocks with my brother when we shared a bathroom. We are going to wrap up with some of the audience questions sent for the one and only Shy Friend. And we got so many good ones between the two of us.
We got so many good ones and so many ones.
So many ones, period. I love it. But why don't we start with this one from Kate? Will Shy Friend ever realize their true potential and become a Christian rock band?
I mean, we did do like a music video where we all dressed up as like I was a pastor and the rest of the band dressed up as like Mormons, and we did.
This is a recurring theme for you, Diva.
Yes, for this record, yes.
In the
absolutely.
iconography,
I have this giant crazy pastor's costume that my mom stole from the church. Well, not stole. They didn't want it anymore, and so it just went missing. And
disclaimer.
it went missing because nobody wanted it.
Yeah,
so
that's how that
she gave it
happens.
to me because she knew I wanted like something to like bring that back. And
Bring
so
that razzle dazzle.
so we recorded on a big hill in Calgary, like in the middle of a hiking trail, and I swear every person passing was like, "Oh, I love Christian rock."
This one is from Milo, and it says, "Who is the most underrated artist you know?"
That I know?
Yeah, this is like a serious touchy-feely one.
Who's getting slept on that
Yeah.
ought not to be?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. A band that has not been getting their flowers is this band called Astrocaster.
Are they based in Calgary too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and
Astrocaster.
They're super fun, punky, silly. Their lead singer has inspired me to jump off stage many a time.
Work.
And they're so fun, and they need to at least be able to do more shows in town, if not get them out of town. Go listen to Astrocaster. They have this song called Picture that's like, it's such a banger, and I'm so excited to see what they have next.
I love that you included a song. So everybody go and cue that up again after this episode, as well as what was the other one you said earlier? Never Been a Sinner. That was These are the two takeaways. You have to listen to these two songs.
Oh, if you need a playlist, I got many. I just hosted a radio show for the first time, and they
Cool.
only let me play local music. I got that playlist. I will make it public happily. Someone on my Discord asked, "Can you confirm the 11th toe?" I'm not showing you my feet. You can't bait me into this. I'm not doing it.
Boundaries are healthy.
I'm not doing it. You will not find that, and I'm not giving that to you
Now,
for free. No.
now, as an outside observer who doesn't know anything about an 11th toe, I'm not going to question you about your anatomy, but what, you have an 11th?
No, I don't have an 11th toe. This is a bait.
This is a safe space. If you want to admit here
I'm
on
not
Queer in
showing
Alberta,
you my feet, Kels.
thank you.
No.
Yeah.
Don't
yeah.
ask that.
I did not ask that.
You just did.
Well, okay, that's true. But I had to. That's the whole point of the interview, to get the juicy gauze. But thank goodness we settled that once and for all.
Solved.
Wow,
Solved.
the 11th toe.
No, I'm not confirming nor denying, and I will not be providing proof.
Do you have another over there then? Maybe one more from me, one more from you?
Sure. I actually have a real one, just one.
Yeah, okay.
What was the most fun song to record on Snaggletooth, which is my upcoming record?
Cool.
Freaky Nightmare was so fun because
Nightmare.
it has so much like call and response stuff in it, and just a lot of noises all over it.
Yeah.
And I was like, the whole band needs to be a part of this. This cannot just be me because it's gonna sound weird if I do it by myself. So I had to convince all of them. I was like, okay, you have to sit here and you have to in silence go, get freaky.
Yeah.
And I was like, freaky, not freaky. And they were like,
It's important to distinguish, to
Yeah.
enunciate.
so like we all we shotgunned some Red Bulls and then we did all of that.
Yeah.
And it was the silliest time ever. It was so fun.
And I listened to that song last night because I was like, I wanted to listen to more of your music before interviewing you. Loved it. It was so much fun. So add that to the queue as well. Freaky Nightmare.
Thank you. It's fun. That's the point, is that it's fun.
It's fun. Okay, now let me scour through the responses. Like, people really showed out to ask you questions. And the only reason I'm going to say this one on this show is because we did a debrief before starting to record again. And I was like, do you know this person? Is this like a bit? Okay. But it's from somebody, I don't know their name. There's just a user here. And it says, why does her mom not love her? To which I was scared when I saw that. I was like,
yeah, that's really messed up out of context. And, my
Yeah.
mom has this really funny bit she does. It's
Okay.
a really funny bit where she won't say she loves me in public or in private.
or in private. So
Because she
the
thinks
bit
I'm
is actually she
recording her.
doesn't say it. Yeah.
Because she thinks that I'm recording her. She's like, you're not recording it, are you? I'm like, so what's happened is that I go, Mom, you love me. And then she goes, And then I go, you know, I love you too. Or like she'll like she comes to my streams in my chat.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, hello, children. And I'll be like, okay. And she'll be like, I need to leave now.
Wow.
And I'll be like, Mom, I love you, say it back. And then she says, don't be so needy. It's not attractive.
Ooh, tough love.
She's so sarcastic. It's
Yeah.
all jest. I know she loves me. There's no
so
doubt.
funny.
It's so funny.
Uh-huh.
It's so funny because we're in on the bit. If your mom withholds love from you, don't be. You deserve love.
It's a different story.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is not that.
My mom is just, unfortunately, she's the funniest person I know. So, and she really capitalizes on that. So.
I love that. Well, I'm really glad I asked because again, I read that and I was like, let me just do a quick pulse check
Why
here with
doesn't
you
your mom love you?
before we hit record?
That is a crazy question
Yeah.
to just ask.
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to that guy. Wow.
Shout out to that guy. And you know what? I feel like that's actually the perfect note, oddly enough, to end the episode because it's so zany and wacky and fun. I have had the best time hanging out with Shy Friend. And thank you so much for coming onto Queer in Alberta and coming into the space.
Kels, thank you so much for like having me, for like opening up your home for me to be in it, and for like connecting like past just this. You weren't just like coming for an interview or whatever. It was like we're I think we're buds.
I think we're homies. I think this is the start of something. The start of something that's done. That's where I'm ending it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me and for creating such a wonderful space to share these kinds of stories.
Look at all these gushies at the end here.
It's
wow.
so important. It's so important.
Well,
you know?
thank you. And you know what? I want to give you one last opportunity to look over at this camera here and say where people can follow you, the band, how they can support, listen to music, the whole shebang.
Instagram shy_friend_. But if you look up Shy Friend, you should be able to find us on streaming services or whatever you use. If you want to support directly, you can use Bandcamp or you can use any other streaming service if you need to. Check out the music videos. It's my favorite part. Go check out a music video on YouTube. It's like my favorite thing to make. So if you want to support and see what I find the most fulfillment out of, go check that out. Go check that out. If you want chaos, I do live stream, but you're going to have to ask about that. But more importantly than anything, go out to a show, not just to my show. Come to my show, sure, if I'm around, but go see some local bands. Go see some local artists. It's cheaper than food delivery. You
In
should
this
do
economy,
it.
that is so true.
It's cheaper than food
and
delivery.
way more fun. I love that. Everybody, please go and support Shy Friend. Keep an eye out for that album that is dropping in our current timeline, I guess, very soon, but will be out by the time this is for you and you're able to listen to everything. The last thing I have to ask is, could you look into that camera again and say, my name is Shy Friend and you're watching Queer in Alberta?
Right into the camera.
Right in. Yeah. In whatever style, in whatever way. Yeah. Boom.
What's poppin'?
Okay. Yeah. Continue.
No, let me finish.
Yeah.
No, let me finish.
Let her breathe. Okay.
What's poppin'? My name's Shy Friend, and you're watching Queer in Alberta.
That was everything to be. Thank you so much, Shy Friend. And that is a wrap on the episode. Woo! You did it, bestie.
Oh my God.
Cheers.
Clink.
And then, are you a hugger?
Yes, of course I'm a big hug.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. Coming up next on Queer in Alberta.
I guess over the years of just like being in drag, not necessarily performing, I just have so many like roots in this community and I just feel safe here. I think Lethbridge is kind of like my safe haven, my little gothic castle, you know, if you will.